Live from Hofstra University Soccer Stadium here in Hempstead, New York, it's time for the CAA Championship game right here on Flow FC. Tom Verdi alongside Ryan Yee here from Hofstra University in Hempstead. And obviously Hofstra today hosting James Madison in this CAA Women's Soccer Championship game. Should be a good one, a rematch of last year's championship match, Ryan, and obviously for Hofstra going for a three-peat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of storylines here, Tom, heading into this match, this championship final that just is highly anticipated between two teams that obviously have duked it out for the past few seasons here, especially you mentioned it last year in the 2018 final. Hofstra coming out on top. They come into this match looking to win their third straight championship. JMU obviously trying to go out here and end that run. It's going to be a fantastic match between two very good teams in the CAA.
Hofstra arriving here after a semifinal victory over Elon, a game they pretty much dominated from start to finish. 2 goals from Sabrina Bryan and a goal from Anya Suttner as well. JMU winning 2 matches on the road as the 6th seed against UNCW and then against Delaware in overtime, most recently at Grant Stadium. Well, our sideline man, Bobby Broyles, just got a couple of notes from the coaches right before we get ready to kick. Bobby, what did you have to say?
Yeah, thanks a lot, gentlemen. Yeah, I talked to both coaches during warm-ups today. We'll begin with Hofstra's Simon Ridioff. He was really, really confident offensively that his team is going to be fine today. He actually talked more about the defense, and we know that Hofstra is an offensive team that's been very lethal, scoring a lot of goals this year. But if they can limit the touches for Haley Crawford and Ginger Deal today, he's going to like their chances to win. So look for those set pieces, he says, and those throw-ins to really try to limit the touches of Ginger Deal and Haley Crawford for JMU. Obviously, those two were a lethal combination last weekend in the win over Delaware. And as for Josh Walters, he just kind of hopes Hofstra feels the same way as they did last year. Remember, the irony in this matchup, gentlemen, these two teams played each other in a rematch last year. This is a rematch of last year's championship where JMU hosted. Josh Walters felt his team last year in the championship game had a lot of pressure. They were a little bit slow, a little maybe too happy to be playing at home. They don't feel that same pressure this year as they are here at Hofstra. So we'll send it back up to you guys. A couple good things to watch for this match.
All right, thanks, Bobby. Great stuff from you as always. As again, we are just about set for the opening kick. Hofstra in the home white tops, bottoms, and socks. They'll go right to left across your screen here in the first, and JMU in the road purple tops, bottoms, and socks. We'll go left to right. We'll get right to the starting lineups. We'll start in goal for JMU. It's the senior Mick Shea. In the back right now, looks like maybe a back 4, although Coach Walters telling us it could be a back 3. Larkin, Gordon, Cowling, and the all-rookie teamer Munson all in the lineup. In the midfield, Dinga, Rabot, Wiseman, and Foley. And up front, obviously, Crawford, the preseason player of the year, and Deal, both of which earned all-conference second-team honors, will be the ones to watch up front for JMU. For Hofstra, they'll start with the freshman Kuzmich in goal. In the back, Stavisky, Suttner, Fisher, and Augustinello. A midfield 3, Little Boy, Richards, and Porter. And Taylor up top, flanked by Bryan and Shepard in what has become a traditional 4-3-3 that's become standard for head coach Simon Ridioff.
Yeah, no, this is a 4-3-3 offense that likes to press and expect them to come out here hot out of the gates in this first 20 minutes. Hofstra likes to put the pressure on their opposing teams. They're going to try to do just that against JMU. JMU, on the other hand, is going to try to stay with it, play some solid defense here, stick in within the first 20 minutes, and try to maybe get ahead here early with the lead.
Good push forward here by Wiseman. And now dispossessed in the center, so a chance for Hofstra to come back the other way with Jordan Littleboy. Looking to play early for Miriah Taylor. It'll go back to McShay in goal. McShay, interesting note, the only start that she missed all season was the regular season matchup between these two teams, in which Hofstra got the 3-1 victory right here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium back on October 10th.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting play here. Alexandra Blom, she coming out for JMU in that match, standing up tall with 10 saves in that matchup. Absolutely huge for JMU, but it'll be looked to be McShay here to stand tall for the Dukes.
They get it to Bryan in space, floated cross towards the 6, is cleared away. A chance to pull one down and eventually is swept out now by the Dukes. Looks like it was Dinga back defending. Controlling now is Little Boy towards the far side of the box. And a chance for Shepard maybe to get going. And that one cleared out. Throw-in on the way for Hofstra. We mentioned it's a rematch of last season. 9 starters from that final returning for JMU. And for Hofstra, only 5 players returning, but they also had Shepard, who came off the bench in that game, a couple players like that. So JMU definitely brings that experience. I don't think they're going to be fazed necessarily by having to play on the road here.
And Poppy Bros mentioned it before the start of the game about the irony of how last championship match it was JMU at home, and this time now Hofstra has home field advantage here. JMU has struggled away from their home territory, 2-10 on the season, so not really performing well away from home, and we'll see if that has any effect heading into this championship match.
Checking back in was Taylor, tried to play it out wide right. It will go out for a throw-in for JMU. And we talked to Coach Walters about that, and he said, yeah, we only have 2 true road wins all season, and you know, they got 1 neutral victory against UNCW, and then, of course, had to get a tough overtime victory over Delaware to get here. Some late heroics, Ebony Wiseman tying the game in the 89th minute of that one, and then the overtime goal for this team. And have to mention here, Iris Rabot with 3 assists, had assists on all 3 goals in that match for JMU to help get them here. As here is Porter on the turn, finds Bryan, left side of the box, tried to get the early shot in, and it was well read and blocked out there by Dinga.
And what a play there by Dinga to put on the pressure. Sabrina Bryan is so lethal in that area of the field. As soon as she gets some space, she's able to get that shot off quickly, but Dinga able to cut that off just in time to force a corner kick and not a scoring opportunity for the Pride.
I believe it's going to be Miriah Taylor here to take the corner kick from the left side for Hofstra. She serves this one in, floated up, headed away by the Dukes. Edge of the area, it will be kept alive by Hofstra. They send another cross back in, and a flick at the near post is in the back of the net. An early strike for the Pride. Coming off the set piece, the second ball delivered back in by Hofstra. And as they so often do, Ryan, they strike early in this one, a 1-0 lead here in the 4th minute.
And it looks like that was Lucy Porter, a player that has been so big for the Pride all season long, scoring 14 goals in regular season play, leading her team. Just been an absolute dynamite player for the Pride, and we mentioned about how important the first 20 minutes are for both of these teams. And Hofstra coming out hot here, they make a statement. They've been doing this all season long, scoring that early goal, and by putting themselves ahead early puts them in the driving seat. Now JMU finds themselves behind here early, and this is exactly the spot that JMU didn't want to find themselves here in the opening play.
So it looks like it'll be Porter's 15th of the year for the CAA Midfielder of the Year. And she gets Hofstra on the front foot here, as we said, in the 4th minute. Sounds like the assist will come in from Suttner, who delivered that ball in from the flank. So 2 players, maybe 2 of the biggest players for this Pride team all season, coming up big in the championship game to get things started.
And Anya Suttner has just been fantastic for the Pride as well, not only on obviously the defensive side, winning co-defensive player of the year. She was also CAA Rookie of the Year as well. She's proved to show that she can do it on the offensive end, scoring a big goal in that semifinal match against Elon. And once again, now adding another stat onto the score sheet by assisting on a huge early goal here for the Pride.
And now we'll see what JMU can do. They are dangerous on the set piece as well. They scored 2 of their 3 goals in the semifinal win off of set pieces. And that's something Coach Ridioff said he knew they would have to defend well, as a cross shot coming in blocked. I believe that went off the foot of Ashby Larkin and hit one of her own teammates actually inside the 18.
And this is the first sequence of plays here that we're going to see from JMU. It has been dominant possession for the Pride thus far in this match in the first 5 minutes of play. We'll see what they can try to do here in the offensive end.
So again, thanks for joining us. If you're arriving a few minutes late here on Flow FC, the Pride taking an early lead on a 4th minute goal from Lucy Porter, the CAA Midfielder of the Year, coming off of a second ball in after a corner kick. And Hofstra with the early 1-0 advantage. And Coach Walter is telling us, you know, how good Hofstra can be in the first 20 minutes, the way they put that high press on. They turn teams over. It leads to a lot of goals. And not exactly out of that type of situation, but again, a fast start for the Pride, who now have a free kick on the far sideline.
And this is a JMU side that has a tendency to allow really early goals and concede goals here. They're ranked 9th in the CAA in goals against average. So they do have a tendency here to allow those early goals as well, especially against the offense for this Hofstra Pride team that has been so magnificent all season long. We'll see if they can bounce back here.
Here is Shepard. Good move inside. Pass comes up top for Taylor. She tried to swing it left side for Bryan. Tackled out, and now won back by Hofstra. And the shot from Porter Looked like she maybe got caught as well on the way through. Rolls harmlessly for Hannah McShay.
And we talked about this last match as well, the ability for Hofstra to turn the ball over in the offensive end, but then to quickly get it back and continue to put on the pressure. We saw an example of that play right there, and that's what makes this Hofstra offense so deadly.
Header is knocked down in the middle of the field by a little boy. Second ball in now is headed away by Suttner. And it will come out for a throw-in on that near sideline, with Dinga, the senior out of Bristow, Virginia, coming over to take. Note now she'll leave it behind for Hannah Cowling. Taken quickly. Here is Cowling looking to step forward, and Bryan doesn't let her get past. Maybe a chance here on the counter for Hofstra. Bryan has Taylor going with her through the center. And a great job hustling back by Munson, winning the tackle and then drawing the foul. The CAA all-rookie teamer, freshman, local product out of over here in Merrick, New York.
And it does look like that that the JMU Dukes are staying with that 3-4-3 formation that they've stuck with all season long, played that formation in the quarters and the semis that proved to be successful. But it is going to be Munson, who hasn't started in the championship playoffs yet. She looks to be that kind of swing player from the midfield to that back line, and she's able to use her athleticism there to cut it off and make a great defensive play to prevent that counterattack.
Yeah, Coach Walters usually coming out in a 3-4-3, and so far it had been Larkin, Gordon, and Cowling as the back three, with Munson kind of maybe losing out because she doesn't have that experience in these postseason matches, but she gets the start here today. So we'll see what she can provide, as this one will be a throw in deep down the right side, and it looks like a long throw going to be coming on the way from Cowling, as JMU getting their bodies in towards the box. So here comes that long throw, gets it in towards the 18 and had to be flicked out by Hofstra for a corner. And again, 2 of those 3 goals in the semifinal for JMU coming off corners, so something to watch here is JMU on the set pieces, with Haley Crawford, the senior, coming to take it.
And Haley Crawford has been magnificent for this team, 12 assists. And we'll go back to that goal here by Lucy Porter. Just, you know, the ability here to keep track of that ball, and even in messy play where it's bouncing around. I think Hofstra just has an act to find that loose ball, find the messy play, and put it in the back of the net. And Lucy Porter, once again, just being so great for this Hofstra team.
Definitely a player that you cannot afford to lose track of in that box area, which is what happened for the Dukes. And Porter was able to take advantage. As the corner kick is drilled in towards the far post, header scrambled away for now by Hofstra, and then poked out to midfield. Munson will drive it back in towards the far side of the box, flicked on again towards the center, and Hofstra doing just enough. Offside flag going to come up against JMU, so Hofstra will survive. But again, it looks like if JMU is going to get an early one here, it might be off a set piece, because they've looked like they might cause Hofstra some trouble there.
Yeah, close opportunity here for the Dukes, as, you know, great corner kick played and using the height to try to get that ball in, and just Wiseman not able to get on top of that ball there, just missing it slightly. But if she was able to connect with that would have been a sure goal for sure.
Kuzmich will have the goal kick. Of course, the freshman was not one of those players who was in this game last year, as Hofstra had to actually replace their entire back 5, all 4 defensive starters, and really the 2 goalkeepers that they used last season throughout the course of this season. So it's an entire new defensive structure for Hofstra that has been growing and gelling throughout the season, and Coach Ridioff talked to us about that, including Kuzmich, who he said isn't a freshman anymore now that she's got 18 games under her belt.
Absolutely, and that experience, her being able to kind of hone in on that starting role all season long, is going to prove to be helpful here in what is their biggest match of the season in this final match against JMU.
Throw in deep down the right flank is won by Ginger Deal, and she brings that good size at center forward, can give you that hold-up play. Right there wins a throw-in, and again with this long throw coming from Cowling, it almost is more like a corner kick every time they get a throw-in down in this area, but this time she'll go short, try to catch Hofstra off guard. Back out to Cowling. She serves across in, headed away but not out. Redirected back in front by JMU. And the Pride again will survive for now, as that one goes over the bar. Goal kick on the way.
And a great play there off of the throw-in to quickly get it in on that short player there, and then give it right back on that give-and-go play, and then to get it into the box for another scoring opportunity. JMU has started to show some signs of life here after that early goal by Hofstra, and they're really proving to be a threat here against Hofstra, especially on those set-piece plays.
Yeah, it feels like more of the play has definitely been in Hofstra's end since the 4th-minute goal. So we'll see how aggressive the Pride will be trying to turn the tide here. As Miriah Taylor getting dispossessed. Looked like Munson on the tackle. And now this one is going to be swept upfield. Fisher back defending for Hofstra. And she takes no chances, putting it out for a throw-in in front of the JMU bench. Throwing up towards Deal, headed away. Fell to Munson. And now flicked on again. Little boy back there for the header. Such an important part of that midfield structure for Hofstra. Shielding the back four really breaks up a lot of the opposing team's attacks. And now they'll go back to McShay. Little give and go with Sarah Gordon. One of those center backs in the traditional back three, which is what we've seen mostly from JMU in the build-up to this game. Throwing on the way for the Dukes.
And good job by JMU thus far in this match. Outside of that goal, they've really been providing the pressure within that midfield area and up high in their defensive zone to put the pressure on Hofstra and not really allow them to set anything up in the offensive zone.
Deal on the turn, going down the left flank. Now we'll cut the cross in, and easy catching in the end for Kuzmich. And, it can be difficult, as we talk to Coach Walters. They're a team that likes to play with possession, and for a Hofstra team that you expect to dominate possession on their home field, you sometimes have to adjust your game plan and try to maybe think about becoming more of a counter-attacking team. But thus far, JMU's done a pretty good job with the possession in the first almost 15 minutes here.
Yeah, it seems like if there's anyone that needs to change their game right now, it is Hofstra that has seemed to go using more of that counter-attack type game because of the way JMU has dominated possession thus far in this match. But yeah, you nailed it around the head there, Tom. Hofstra is a team that has success when they control the ball, and if JMU is able to keep that ball away from them, they'll find a lot of success here in this final.
And fans, for complete coverage of the CAA Women's Soccer Championship, including post-game recaps, stats, and highlights, do log on to caasports.com/WSOC or WSOC, caasports.com/WSOC. JMU will send this one back to Suttner, who will go across to her center back partner Fisher. And now a long ball down the right side, looking to get Hofstra back involved as Bryan now has switched from left to right. So maybe a little bit of a change here for Simon Ridioff trying to get his team going.
And that's the deadly nature of this Hofstra team, is because despite even not having possession, they really can flick that switch on at any point in the match. They really have a multifaceted attack, and especially with the athleticism and the speed that Bryan has, she can really turn the corner there, and it was a close one there that resulted in a corner kick.
Here Bryan serves in the lefty cross. It falls in the center towards Fisher, and they're going to have a foul against Hofstra in the build-up, but yeah, now just makes Bryan more dangerous cutting in. She can open it up on that left foot coming in from the right. So definitely we'll see if that's a change that sticks. Right now it looks like Shepard on the left, Bryan on the right.
And that's also what Hofstra is able to do. They're able to move their players around the field and kind of provides a lot of pressure against backlines of opposing teams, especially on a JMU backline that has trusted in three players to lock down some really, really highly offensive players, highly skilled players on that forward line for Hofstra. But that just goes to show you the trust that head coach Walters has with his backline that he's been able to kind of rely on all season long.
Yeah, and if you're those left-sided JMU players, you come in game planning that you're going to have Shepard attacking your wing. All of a sudden you have Bryan coming down the wing after the first 15 minutes. Could definitely throw a wrench into their game plan. As the tackle will be won by Hofstra. Porter trying to get it forward. And in the end, it'll be Augustinello knocking it up towards midfield. One back by the Dukes. Here's Ebony Wiseman, JMU's lone all first-team CAA selection. We'll switch it out to the left side. And maybe a chance here for the Dukes, but the pass a little bit too long, maybe not on the same page. Two players on the far side. It will run out for a goal kick.
And those are the type of plays that JMU will not be able to afford to have, those mental errors where you really need to keep possession and kind of set up plays down in the offensive end, and you really want to have the ball as much as you possibly can, and to give it away and have easy turnovers like that just gives Hofstra more opportunities to come back on the offensive end and counter.
Kuzmich on the season, making her 20th start. She comes in 14-3-2 with a 1.32 goals against. So she has been the main keeper for this team, basically winning the job early on in the season, and as we said, part of a rebuilt, retooled back four as well for Hofstra, and really gelling throughout the season. Suttner, of course, a star in the center there, winning Rookie of the Year and Co-Defensive Player of the Year honors in the conference.
And that's what's incredible about this Hofstra team is that they're still a very young team. I think JMU provides a lot of veteranship here. I mean, even just the discrepancies in both goals. You have a freshman goalie with Kuzmich, and then obviously McShay has a lot of that experience being a senior. That just goes to show you the differences in experience these two teams have when it comes to CAA play.
Shepard out on the left. She'll send the cross in towards the far post. Bryan crashing there. Looked like she was able to keep it in play. And she was arguing that maybe that should have been a corner on the last touch from McShay, but McShay able to hold on to it at the moment.
And just some calm, cool, collective composure, that veteranship that I'm talking about by McShay to just kind of lock down that possession and not allow really Sabrina Bryan or Lucy Porter to shake her, especially when there's messy plays like that.
And here is Crawford, preseason player of the year. You don't want to see her in space if you're Hofstra. Here she is down the left flank. Dangerous attacking player, cuts to the end line, chance to get a cross in. She sends it in, the shot is blocked. That one coming off the foot of Rabot, or rather of Wiseman, I believe. And knocked down in the center. Miriah Taylor with some good hold-up play, now out wide for Bryant. She's got Porter making the run, now Shepard will arrive late. Here's Porter, the layoff for Shepard, chance here for Hofstra, they cut it back through the middle and cleared away at the moment for the Dukes. Little Boy winning it back in the center. Hofstra looking to keep the pressure on. Little Boy shot blocked down in front by Cowling. Almost fell to Porter, and now eventually JMU will just sweep it out and try to ease the pressure, throwing on the way for Hofstra.
And what team play there by Hofstra. Maybe a little bit too much there, maybe one pass too many. I was really expecting Shepard to maybe take that shot when she had that open lane on that left side, but she wanted to get that extra pass in for a better angle.
Cross coming in. Porter, great takedown off the chest. And now it pops out to the near side. 50-50 ball. Good charge forward by Hofstra. Shepard again queuing it up for a cross. Comes in. And again it is Munson there with the good defending. She's looked good so far, the freshman all-rookie team selection, Munson. As Stavisky now will get it in quickly for Miriah Taylor. And Taylor wants to go quickly towards Porter. She saw her maybe floating up there. That's definitely a big part of Porter's game. She's not afraid to get in the box and use her big frame and get the headers towards goal.
And also Miriah Taylor's playmaking ability. I mean, she has 7 assists on the season. She's shown up big for the club in big moments, and especially in that Elon match where she assisted that first goal by Sabrina Bryan. She has proved that she not only can put the ball in the net, but also set up goals as well.
Tinga had this one tackled out, so it'll be a throw-in on the way for Cowling. She gets it up the line, and it looks like another throw coming for the Dukes. So Cowling will have this one. JMU, of course, also lost a key part of their defense with Lizzie Lazaro being lost for the season with injury, and Coach Walters telling us they kind of had to reinvent themselves in the back once they lost her. As here Cowling's cross too long, it'll go behind for a goal kick.
And as we approach 20 minutes into this match, really, if you were to tell JMU they'd only be down 1 goal at this point in time after, that crucial 20 minutes of play, I don't think they'd be too angry, because I think they've done a great job outside of that first goal. Within the first 5 minutes, they've done a great job to stifle this Hofstra offense, and really they have dominated possession. They've had more scoring opportunities than the Pride. They just haven't been able to connect with one, and if they continue to put on the pressure like they have over the course of the past 15 minutes, it's eventually going to break through here and potentially tie up this game.
Dukes on the prowl in the midfield. Pass coming in is cleared out by the Hofstra defense. And all the way back now with Gordon, who will help and send it all the way back to McShay. McShay's pass, a little bit of a tough one for Cowling. It put her under pressure by Miriah Taylor. And there's a nutmeg from Taylor down the left side. Low cross coming in. Porter, edge of the box. And the Dukes will survive it. This one goes out for the goal kick, but a little bit of a tough ball again for the goalkeeper, for her center back to deal with, and Miriah Taylor with some individual brilliance here.
And look at that footwork, and look at that awareness to put that ball through the defender's legs there in Cowling. And just Miriah Taylor just provides the aggressiveness and the grittiness of just constantly putting that pressure on that opposing side. When you really think that there is no threat, if Miriah Taylor comes in and just creates something out of nothing, and once again Hofstra gets a scoring opportunity there, which really shouldn't have been, just a little bit too calm play there by JMU. But nonetheless, they're going to be able to get out of that situation and get into that goal kick.
This one will fall for Bella Richards in midfield. She's got Shepard down to her left. Back for Richards. Little triangle passing move from Hofstra. Well read and broken up by Dinga. She'll leave it behind for the throw-in for Cowling. So a little over 20 minutes in here, Ryan. Give me your thoughts here on how this one's gone so far.
Yeah, I think it's been pretty even play between these two teams. I mean, JMU has been able to dominate possession, which is exactly what they want to do. That is the game plan if they want to come out victorious in this final. Hofstra not able to really maintain the possession. JMU has been doing well at stifling that offensive play, especially in that midfield and that top defensive area. But they have had their opportunities on that counterattack. They're really showing that multifaceted offense that Hofstra has, but JMU doing a great job so far outside of that early goal to kind of minimize the threats that Hofstra have been able to provide all season long.
And a clash of heads there in the center, Rabot and Richards. So the referee stopped the clock, making sure those players are okay, as obviously they take head injuries extremely seriously. Gives us a chance to remind you fans that the CAA wants you to be part of the conversation. Be sure to tag your tweets, posts, and pics about today's action with the official hashtag of the championships, CAA Champs. A free kick coming up here for Hofstra as both players having to go to the sideline for the moment. And it's going to be Fisher to take this one from now just inside her own half of the field. 23:06 left on the clock. Pride with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a fourth-minute goal from Lucy Porter. Cowling got the head on it and goes all the way back to McShay, a player that Coach Walters told us may be one of the most competitive players he's ever coached. I thought it was a great line. He said she's as competitive playing the game as she would be playing a game like Monopoly. And so you never want to go against McShay in a game, even in a game like Monopoly.
And we mentioned her veteranship earlier in the match. It's her leadership, really. She's really vocal. That's what head coach Walters was telling us. She's very vocal on that back line. I think that's something that allows them to play that 3-4-3 system, because despite maybe not having the plethora of players to lock down, some of the offensive threats that Hofstra has, I think the vocal aspect of McShay's game allows them to play that 3-4-3 style and keep up with this Hofstra offense.
Taylor there getting clipped by Dinga in the midfield, so we'll set up a pretty dangerous set piece opportunity for Hofstra. Little boy over here on the near sideline will take it. And again, Pride do have some size. Players like Shepard and Porter, especially. Suttner also a threat in the box, and the header coming in, and that was from Shepard and handled in the end by McShay.
And a good scoring opportunity there for the Pride, just not getting that angle off of the header. An easy save for McShay, but a good opportunity for Hofstra to potentially go up here 2-0.
Big kick out of the back from the senior, and will fall for Bella Richards in midfield. She gives it right back to Dinga. Chance to build up through the middle. Ginger Deal working her back in along the right. Now they get Crawford up the line. And so far today, it seems wherever Crawford goes, Suttner goes, and that's not really a huge surprise, as Suttner shadowing JMU's maybe most dangerous attacking player.
Yeah, no, it's a battle of two of the best players in the CAA. Crawford, a 2019 Mac Herman Award watch list candidate, and she has just been one of the most prestigious awards really that you can be acknowledged for. And obviously we've listed the accolades that Anya Suttner was able to win this season. So just a battle between two great players in the CAA conference.
Corner kick gets floated in towards the back post, and I believe it's last off of JMU. And even something to watch in the regular season meeting between these games, Crawford was able to score on her own off a corner kick, a bit of an Olympico, wound up going inside the far post. So she's definitely a threat off of those set pieces, can put a lot of pressure on the goalie. But in the end now, just a goal kick on the way for Kuzmich, who Coach Ridioff told us provides a real physical presence back there. Good all-around goalkeeper for this team. As they clip this one up and let Miriah Taylor go to work trying to chase down Gordon, and Gordon will have to concede the corner kick here.
And that's the aggressiveness of Miriah Taylor that I'm talking about. She puts that pressure on. She works until really the play is over, and she forces that corner kick. A huge opportunity here for the Pride. And it's Miriah Taylor's aggressiveness that just allows her to be such a big part of this team, to create those scoring opportunities when really there wasn't a scoring opportunity to be had for Hofstra.
Brian here will take the corner. We haven't really said her name too much in the last few minutes, as she swings this one in towards the middle, flicked out by the Dukes towards the far side of the box where Fisher will get on it. Lays it back for Suttner, who had the assist on the last goal, and Suttner is brought down here. Another free kick upcoming, and looks like the card is going to stay in the pocket for now. Referee maybe just wanting to have a chat with the JMU player, but another dangerous set-piece chance for Hofstra after another look here at the foul.
And yeah, just the speed of Anya Suttner, some great footwork there, just trying to beat and get into that corner, and ultimately it was Larkin that committed the foul. No yellow card there. She has one yellow card during regular season play. So I think that's just a lot of the athleticism by Suttner that has allowed her to kind of draw that foul in a key scoring opportunity area.
Little boy will serve this one in, puts it in a good spot, and it just won't come off for Hofstra. Now the flag coming up here. Referee, I believe, going to say maybe a foul in the box. But a great ball in by a Little Boy right on the top of the 6-yard box. McShay couldn't really come for it, and Hofstra almost had a chance to cash in and double their lead.
And Little Boy, who has started 16 of 18 games for the Pride in regular season play, all CAA third-team recognition. She's been a big aspect of this team in that midfield area, especially on those set-piece plays, and she proves to do that just there in a crucial free kick area. But unfortunately, there was a foul that was committed that kind of negated that scoring chance.
So McShay, who's been the rock-solid starter for the last 2 seasons, also made 9 starts as a freshman. She brings a lot of experience in the back for this JMU team, as here Wiseman will show off her speed, cutting down the center. Now we'll try to cut inside, and was ridden off just enough by Hofstra. Fell there for a moment to deal. Now Crawford, edge of the area, lefty strike, and it's to the near post and caught by Kuzmich.
And you can really see Hofstra is flooding that 18-yard box area when JMU is on that attack, especially on those set-piece plays. They're really flooding that box with a lot of white jerseys to not allow JMU to get anything set up. And I think that's a big part of the game plan here for Hofstra.
This one gets through. Bryan was on the chase, and McShay, wisely off of her line, was able to clear it out to midfield. Falls to Little Boy, now in for Richards. And back out to the right as, again, Shepard and Bryan switching flanks again. Shepard gets down the line. The cross comes in towards Miriah Taylor. She mishit it. Falls to Porter in the 18. And now cleared enough by JMU, forcing Hofstra back into midfield. Little Boy plays in a good first-time ball. It's a 50-50 between Miriah Taylor and McShay. And McShay was able to make the catch under duress. And the referee coming out to check on her. So sometimes you see them call the foul there as Taylor was going for the ball. And again, it was Little Boy with that service.
And McShay just showing a lot of composure here, showing why she's such a dominant force here for this JMU Dukes side. Earlier in the play, she was able to come out of her net and negate that opportunity that Bryan maybe had to use her speed to chase down that ball. And then right there, jumping up high and contesting Miriah Taylor to come down with it. Just showing a lot of composure here and calmness in a very tight final match.
Little Boy under pressure from Deal and then Wiseman, but able to hang on to it. But then Fisher will knock it out of play, and I think a chance here for JMU to make the first 2 subs of the match. So Claire Miser and Sophia Browse will enter the game for JMU.
And the interesting thing about Claire Miser is that she has started the last 7 games for this JMU Duke side, and I think by JMU kind of going with more the defensive mentality to try to negate that attack led by Bryan and Porter, they went with the freshman Munson, but now they're going to try to get on that scoring side here. They proved to have a lot of possession here, so maybe adding a little attacking force by putting Miser in the game. We'll see if she can make a difference in a 1-0 tight match between the Pride and the Dukes.
Larkin and Dinga, the players replaced for JMU. As a free kick coming from the far side in towards the near post, the header was partially blocked and then swept out by Hofstra as far as Munson, who's got her back to the goal now, being pressured by Bryan. And Bryan able to win this off of her, and now Bryan's got the speed. She wants to run at the defender, 1v1. That was Foley. Now she'll swing it to the far side to Shepard. Shepard, edge of the 18, will cut it back. Lays off top of the box. Miriah Taylor with the strike. And never got through, was blocked by Maya Foley. Comes out to the near side for Stavisky. Back down the left flank. Bryan gets around her defender. The cross in front to Porter. And they're going to call Porter for the push-off there in the center.
And Bryan just showing some great vision here, showing that not only can she put the ball in the net, but she has the ability to really look at the open field and find those open players. Bryan coming down that left side wing and being able to find Porter in the center of that 18-yard box, but a foul committed is going to negate that scoring opportunity. But 2 great plays there by Bryan, showing that she can not only score, but she can also be a playmaker out there on the pitch.
Goal kick from McShay will pop out to midfield. Deal with the right foot, sending it up towards Crawford, and now cleared back by Hofstra. Only as far as Cowling, who will give it right back to the Pride. Shepard flicking it forward. Taylor took it down, tried to play in Porter. And it was defended well by Cowling, who then was fouled by Miriah Taylor.
And after what was a dominant 15 minutes by JMU in terms of possession, it does seem that Hofstra does have some signs of life here in turning that around. They've dominated possession for the past 7 minutes or so. So just some back and forth play between 2 very good soccer sides in the CAA, something that you definitely expected heading into the CAA final.
Of course, fans, please be sure to follow the CAA on Twitter and Instagram at CAA Sports, or like the league on Facebook by searching CAA Sports. As McShay will get us restarted here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium. A 1-0 lead for the Pride on a 4th-minute goal from Lucy Porter. And here comes Hofstra back the other way with Sabrina Bryant. Had 2 goals in the semifinal win for Hofstra. And that one is poked out off of the flag, I believe, so it'll be a throw-in, basically right on top of that corner flag.
And Bryan is just showing thus far in the past 5 minutes how lethal she is in open space. She's really getting sprung out on runs and has been a big part on why Hofstra has been able to dominate possession over the past 5 minutes or so.
Richards back to Bryan. The cross comes in, and the header is just wide from Hofstra, as they nearly doubled the advantage again with Shepard getting her head onto it.
And what a scoring opportunity there for the Pride. Great play here to find Bryan in open space, and then Bryan with a fantastic cross heading in there, and great opportunity to try to pop one in, but just wide to the left. That was Shepard, who has been a big player for the Pride thus far and usually converts on those opportunities, has 5 goals on the season. And also 9 assists there as well. So a playmaker and a potential scorer here for the Pride, but just going wide left to potentially put Hofstra up by 2.
Munson up the line, and now a chance for Deal. Makes a good move in midfield, trying to play through for Crawford. And Fisher did just enough to allow Kuzmich to get out to the top of the 18 and collect that ahead of Crawford.
And you can almost feel some of the Hofstra fans holding their breath as Kuzmich comes out of her net to snatch that ball and smother it. She has struggled at times this season when she's come out of her net, but there she proves to have a lot of composure and does a great play for Hofstra.
Bryan one-on-one against Munson. Down the left, she'll get this cross in. And Porter was trying to turn her defender. She could not. Still there, edge of the box now for Shepard. And Hofstra appealing for a handball in the box, as that one took a deflection off one of the JMU players, but The referee unmoved by the protests. See if we get a better look at it.
And we'll have another look as there's some great ball movement here for the Pride, putting out a lot of pressure. Good job by Porter to get the ball out, and couldn't really see there, but yes, clearly that there was some displeasure there with the Hofstra players on wanting that handball, which would have been a crucial call here about almost halfway through the game.
And here is Crawford, who serves in a good ball towards the back post, but nobody really making that deep back post run for JMU, so Kuzmich will be able to collect it with 11:05 now and counting remaining in the first half here at Hofstra. 2-1 the shots on goal at the moment for the Pride, and now a chance maybe for Bryan to get by again. Left side of the box. Bryan wanted to cut it back. Munson read it well, and believe she was able to keep that one in and just knock it out for a throw-in, which helped save a corner. That's a big play for Munson.
And what a play by the freshman midfielder, by Munson, to keep that out of the goal line and get force a throw-in ball, and a great defensive play against one of Hofstra's best players in Sabrina Bryan. The freshman really not showing that she has that inexperience, not yet starting a game in CAA championship play, and she's proving to fill the role in quite nicely here in this final match.
Little boy going left side for Bryan. Dances down the left, cuts the cross in. Porter touching it down towards Miriah Taylor. And now maybe a chance for JMU on the break. Deal. Good ball forward, and Stavisky read it really nicely for the Pride. Delivered back into the far side and taken down neatly by Foley. Up ahead towards Crawford, who we've kind of seen freelancing all over the Hofstra, the JMU attacking end, I should say. And a throw-in coming up here for the Dukes on that far side.
And Crawford is going to be a big part of JMU's potential comeback here as they find themselves down 1-0 with under 10 minutes to play in this first half. She was first in the CAA in assists with 12 of them, which put her at an average of 0.6 per game, which also led the entire CAA. She'll be a big part of this JMU side in facilitating this offense and hopefully maybe tying this game back up at 1.
This one hit long by the Dukes up towards Crawford. Clipping it forward and defended well there by Fisher. Out to Bryan. Tried to get the turn against Munson, who was All-State and Conference Player of the Year at Calhoun High School here on the island. Miser with some good hold-up play, but this one eventually will be knocked out for a Hofstra throw on this near side.
And when we started this match, Tom, there was some questions on whether it was the right decision to go with Munson and take out Miser, but it seems like she has been fitting this role perfectly. She's shown a lot of composure despite being a freshman, maybe using some of her experience in the past, her being first-team All-State and Conference Player of the Year as a senior, like you mentioned, Tom, and she's showing that really her inexperience is not affecting her in this final match in CAA Conference play.
Suttner with the free kick and didn't even get past the first JMU player. That was Rabot, who cleared it away. And Rabot and Wiseman, both international players, both spending some time at other schools prior to arriving at JMU, which Coach Walters told us helping them adjust to the level of athleticism and the speed of play here in the American ranks. And of course now making huge impacts, both key players in the midfield for this JMU team. As a throw-in coming up here for Munson. Bryan sends the header right back, flicked back in by Rabot. And now a long ball all the way back to Cowling, who will use her keeper, McShay. They haven't been afraid to go back to her feet today. Shepard's header will not stay in play, so it'll be a throw-in far side for JMU in their own defensive end.
And I think that just goes to show you the confidence that this team has in McShay, and having the trust in pushing that ball back to her and allowing her to kind of dictate play from that back line and being able to find those open spots and spark the offensive push going the other way. I think that just goes to show you the confidence that this Duke side has in their goalkeeper.
Richards on the turn, eventually getting it forward. Cowling heads it away. Falls back to Richards. We'll try to play in up the far side. Good scrap here, and Hofstra thinks they won a corner, and they have, according to the referee. So good job by Shepard. And with about 6.5 remaining, it'll be Brian over there to take the corner kick with the left foot.
And huge corner kick opportunity here for the Pride. They could enter this half up by 2. I think that would go a long way. This second goal for either side, whether it's JMU or Hofstra, is going to go long ways in how this match is going to play out.
Fourth corner of the match for Hofstra. It's a good one, and it's Fisher cleaning it up at the back post. So Hofstra with a big goal there. Couple of players in the area. And it is now 2-0 Pride with 6:11 right now showing on the clock.
And just look at a perfectly placed corner kick by Brian, who usually scores the goals, but has shown her playmaking ability in this match thus far. And it looks like it was Fisher that was able to perfectly find that right spot and get a head on it and pot it in the back of the net. That puts Hofstra up by 2 in the CAA final. And I mentioned it, Tom, that second goal, whether it's by JMU, whether it is by Hofstra, is going to be a big one. And now that Hofstra finds them up 2-0, really puts JMU on the back end and puts the pressure on them to keep up in this game. They've been playing well thus far in this match, really controlling possession for a large majority of this first half, have had scoring opportunities, but it is Hofstra that has been able to convert.
So it is the Virginia native Fisher getting her second of the season, with the sophomore crashing at the back post and heading home the corner kick from Brian. So a big goal for Hofstra, doubling their lead, as we're just about 5 and change away from the halftime break, and a free kick coming now for JMU. This one delivered in is headed up in the air as Ibeson just coming in after that last goal for Hofstra. Low cross sent in and dealt with by Hofstra. Now out for Ibeson, who had an assist on a Hofstra goal in the semifinal, her first of the season, as she set up Sabrina Bryan in that semi against Elon.
And Ibeson just showing her athletic ability there. She showed it last match when she assisted that third goal with assisting Sabrina Bryan's goal, her second of the match. And Ibeson just using her strength and her athleticism to kind of beat out the JMU Dukes defender there, which she did just the same way in the last match as well. Ibeson just proving to be a very big threat coming off the bench for the Pride.
Here is Miriah Taylor sending the ball in. Headed away by Cowling. Top of the box. Bryan taken down. Richards with a shot. And the half volley going just wide.
And Richards so close, just missing by a couple feet there on that left post. Had the open angle just outside the box. A well-placed shot, just not placed well enough. And that would have been a crucial goal for the Pride that would have really put a damper here on the JMU Duke side that's trying to get back in this match.
Fans, plenty more CAA championship coverage continuing tomorrow on Flow Sports with the 2019 CAA Field Hockey Championship game from the University of Delaware. It'll be the top seed and regular season champs, the Delaware Blue Hens, taking on the third seed Northeastern Huskies. Make sure to tune in as the conference crowns its 2019 champion and witness which team will punch its ticket to the NCAA tournament. Again, it's the 2019 CAA Field Hockey Championship. Go to flowlive.tv Sunday at 1 o'clock. So we've got a foul now in the midfield. JMU will have a free kick. Last 5 minutes of the half. If you're Hofstra, you cannot concede right now to JMU and let them take some momentum back into the half. And for JMU, we'll see how aggressive they get, throwing some bodies forward here with the free kick and maybe try to scrape one back.
Well, it's exactly that, Tom. JMU is going to have to play some aggressive play here within this 5 minutes to try to cut this deficit in half. A goal for them going into the halftime break would go a long way for a potential comeback by the Dukes.
Throw-in coming on the near side. They'll leave it for the long throw of Cowling. Up the line, it's cut out by Bryan. And then knocked out last off of Miser, so Hofstra will have the throw-in. Miser winning that, header forward. Hofstra will get it back to Bryan in some space, playing in the early ball forward for Ibeson. too long for her. McShay will have an easy catch on the edge of the 18. Sent long, the header by Deal over towards Wiseman. And this one now smashed out by Cowling. Haven't really said Wiseman's name too much in this match, and obviously the All-CAA first-teamer for JMU has been extremely dangerous, had that big late equalizer in the semifinal, and definitely a player that Coach Walter is going to try to figure out how to get a little more out of maybe in the second.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she's the player that has, you could argue, one of the most talented players here on the JMU side, and they're going to want to get her involved if they want to come back in this match as they find themselves down 2-0. She'll be a big part of the comeback if that is to happen for the Dukes.
Throw-in coming up on the far side for Foley. Up the line with 2:20 now remaining in this first half. It's going to go back to Hofstra here. Free kick, and they're not obviously in any rush to take it right now, working with that 2-goal lead. Fisher, who had the goal, will get it up for Besson, flicks it on, and a difficult strike and a tough angle, but Porter somehow almost made that one find the back of the net.
And really, it just seems that like when JMU is going down the other way, Hofstra is able to turn it around quickly and just create scoring opportunities out of nothing. It just seems momentum is all in Hofstra's favor right now as they find themselves up 2-0. JMU really controlling the possession, but every time Hofstra touches the ball, it seems that they're able to create a scoring chance out of it.
So now the final 90 seconds here of the first half, a rematch of last season's CAA championship game, which was, of course, won by the Pride after they dropped a regular season contest to the Dukes. Miser with the cross in, and Fisher will head out for a corner. JMU was hoping to flip the trend on Hofstra this year after falling during the regular season. They're hoping to turn the tide and find a way to win here on Hofstra's home field, as Hofstra won down in Harrisonburg last season.
And this is going to be a crucial corner kick for JMU. Tom, you mentioned how successful this Duke side has been on the set piece. A goal here to close out the first half will be a big one.
Crawford sends it in. Headed on by Foley and now pushed out by Hofstra. And the Pride will just blast this one away with 40 seconds left in the first half. And McShay will call off her teammate and she'll play it long. So nice goalkeeping, hits it long. And Suttner will send it right back. Bit of a ping pong match back and forth. And flicked on again by JMU. Good header by Miser up towards Crawford. And again, Fisher was there for Hofstra. She's having a really nice first half, of course, which includes the goal. As now a push in the back against Munson. And with 10 seconds left, you wonder if Hofstra will even bother to take this one. Bryan up for Ibesson. And that is going to be how the first half will end. Hofstra with a 2-0 lead over James Madison. And obviously a great start, probably as good of a start as Coach Ridioff could have asked for, with goals coming from Porter and Fisher.
And we talk about the offense all the time with this Hofstra Pride side. Lots of great defense being played there. They are really flooding that 18-yard box and not really giving JMU any big scoring opportunities. They've had chances to put one in the net, but Hofstra doing a great job of negating any opportunities to convert and put it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, for JMU, a few times off of set pieces, looking like maybe they were a little bit dangerous. Certainly in the first 10 or 15 minutes, they had some more of the possession, but Hofstra was able to kind of stem the tide and started to look back like we expected Hofstra to look, and they will take a 2-0 lead into the break as our Bobby Broyles is now there with the head coach, Simon Ridioff.
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Coach, 2-0 lead going into the half. How would you assess your team's first half performance?
I think it's been a solid performance. JMU have come and battled, and for 10-15 minutes of that first half they put us under a lot of pressure, but we bent. And then we counter-punched with that second goal. So 2-0 is a scary result to have. But I'd rather be 2-0 up than 0-2 down, you know, at half time. So I'm happy so far, but we've got 45 minutes to grind it out.
Coach, you said you weren't worried about the team offensively. Defensively, how do you think you played in the first half, especially looking for their duo of Ginger Deal and Haley Crawford? How do you feel you've matched up against them?
I think we did a good job. They're two very special players, and on throw-ins and corner kicks, they're very dangerous. We've battled, we've got second opportunities and cleared things, so I'm pretty happy with the way we're battling as a back four, definitely.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck in the second half. Thank you for your time. All right, back up to you, gentlemen.
All right, and you heard it there from Coach Ridioff. Thanks, Bobby, that he's happy with the defensive performance so far, and obviously James Madison put them under a bit of pressure, but Hofstra getting a key second goal late in that first half, and that's where we stand now with the 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mentioned before we sent down to Bobby, is that I think what's been so impressive is not necessarily the offense that Hofstra has used to impress so many fans and so many viewers, but it's been their defense in this match that has really stood tall going into the halftime break, keeping James Madison without a goal on the board. This is a James Madison team that can score goals. They're ranking second in the CAA with 41 goals on the season, third in average goals per games with 2.05. So I think Simon Ridioff is going to be very, very pleased with the defensive performance, and they're going to want to continue to build off that to put pressure on the offensive side.
So 2-0 Hofstra. Will take a break and come back with more of this exclusive coverage of the 2019 CAA Women's Soccer Championship here on Flow FC. As the teams in the huddles about to make their way out on the field, you see Hofstra there pumping themselves up. They know there's only one half of play left to go before they are three-peat CAA champs, a 2-0 lead, and see the players with a little shiver too. It's chilly out there, definitely one of the coldest days, maybe the coldest day of the fall season, no doubt about that. So, you know, Coach Walters talked a little bit about the weather maybe being an advantage for Hofstra. I don't think they could have been prepared for this kind of cold either, as Porter getting ready. Again, her 15th of the season opened things up for Hofstra back in the 4th minute.
And you're really seeing the cool, calm, and collectiveness by this Hofstra team who have been here before, like you mentioned, Tom, going for their 3rd championship in a row. Really no nerves that you can see or can tell, at least, from this Hofstra Pride team. But that being said, JMU has been here before too. They have a long stretch of being in the CAA championship play, so they also have the veteranship and the experience to come back. And if there's any team that can do it against the Pride, it is this JMU team that has faced this team before.
Yeah, the 6th time that these teams are meeting in CAA championships play since Simon Ridioff became head coach, and I guess as you'd expect with a matchup that is 10-11 and you know, a couple of ties overall, they are 3-3 in those 6 postseason meetings against each other as well. So it's been a very even series, and 2 of the top dogs, no doubt, in the CAA over the last decade or so. As JMU will clear this early effort. Teams, of course, switching sides for the second half, so the Dukes in purple now going right to left across your screen, and Hofstra in the home whites will go left to right. Tom Verdi alongside Ryan Yee. Thanks for joining us here on Flow FC with our sideline man Bobby Broyles down there roaming as well. Header flicked into the center. Now Wiseman will knock that one up top towards Miser. And Little Boy pokes it out, but only as far as Munson.
And an interesting team change as Miser stays out on the field despite starting the game with her on the bench, going with more of that defensive look formation, having Munson being able to kind of swing back and forth onto that defensive side. But now that JMU finds themselves down by 2, they need to provide that offensive threat, and Miser is exactly the player to do that. And it looks like they're going to go with more of an offensive push here in the second half.
Yeah, Miser usually starting at the right wing, and left side, of course, Crawford, Deal up top, and Wiseman playing just underneath the striker as that attacking midfielder. So that's the 4 they've got out there now, as Bryan will work down the right side after the little back heel. Here is Bryan now, will cut inside to her left. Sends a cross, blocked out by JMU. And now out towards Crawford, who takes that one down really nicely and gets a step on Augustinello. But left the pass for Miser a little bit too easy for Suttner to grab. And Hofstra can come back the other way. And this is where you see Suttner sometimes jump into the play as she following up there, but Richards instead will go right side of Bryan. Bryan now dancing inside. Lefty strike near post, and that is in for Sabrina Bryan. Beats McShane to the near post. And Hofstra now takes a 3-0 lead. They strike quickly in the first half, and now a quick strike here in half number 2.
And what a goal by Sabrina Bryan, showing off her scoring ability and scoring from outside the right side of the box. I would call that not that great of an angle, but if there's any player that can paw one in the net from that spot, it is going to be Sabrina Bryan. And it almost like that was being set up throughout this match. She's been in that spot before on the field, but earlier in that first half, she was really crossing the ball and being a playmaker from that area, and maybe she was able to catch McShay off guard and really get off that angle and take that shot, which maybe have allowed her to find that top corner. Great goal by Sabrina Bryan.
Yeah, we talked about it too with Bryan. She can play on the left side and really attack down the left flank with the left foot, or she can play on the right side and cut inside, really open it up for that left foot, and that's exactly what you saw there. Dancing inside, getting a good look, and then smashing one inside the near post. Great hit from Bryan. As now a throw-in on the way for JMU, who's obviously, you know, the halftime talk, I don't think probably included something about conceding another goal early, so it just gets that much tougher for the Dukes here.
Yeah, and I mean, 3-0 is a big difference than 2-0 here. If one goal would have just cut the deficit in half and you're right back in the game, but now you really got to put the pressure on. You really got to start that offensive push. You had the luxury at 2-0 to kind of sit back and still develop plays, but now you're really going to have to get on that horse and pot a goal here soon, because time is dwindling down with only 41 minutes left to play in this final match.
Cowling with the long throw in towards the box. Wiseman with the shot, blocked out by Suttner, and then headed back in by Miser, held on now by Kuzmich.
And I continue to emphasize this defense that Hofstra is playing. They're just flooding that 18-yard box and not allowing JMU to get any good looks, especially with their star players and the size that JMU has to potentially get those headers off. I think Hofstra understands that, and that game plan going into this match was just really get white jersey in the box, don't allow any shots off easy by this JMU side, and it's proved to be successful thus far in this final match.
Fisher will smash this one out, as it now really seems like the sun is poking through the clouds, so definitely a tough sun for Hofstra to deal with. Looking into it here in the second half, as Bryan, a nice idea, looking to find Miriah Taylor up the line, but it will run out of play, and James Madison will have the throw-in with Foley on their near side. Up top towards Deal, she settles it down neatly for Rabot, and now up towards Miser. Will fall to Bryan near side. Deal winning it back for the Dukes. And this one is going to be last off of Hofstra, or check that, last off of JMU, so Augustinello will have the throw-in for the Pride. Up towards Taylor into the center, flicked away by Wiseman. Connects with Miser up top for Deal. Nice little flick to Crawford. And then an early ball, you could see the idea with Wiseman making that run, but just not quite the execution for the Dukes.
And I think that's just the pressure of trying to create some goals now, that you need to create chances and create that pressure. You're going to have some sloppy plays there as they try to force the ball into certain areas to create opportunities, but I think that's just going to play into Hofstra's favor, who has the inept ability to go out there, create turnovers, and turn them into scoring chances.
Bryan down the line for Taylor. She floats this high cross in towards the back post. Shepard was arriving, and it wound up catching one of the Dukes, as JMU now will look to push it clear, but Hofstra able to hang on to possession for the moment in the center. Bella Richards back for Little Boy. On the push forward, she'll go out to the left side now, and a great tackle in by Munson, winning it back for the Dukes.
And Munson has really been one of the bright spots for this JMU side, of freshmen, like I mentioned before, that hasn't started any of the games in CAA championship play, but she has really been one of the stronger players on this JMU side thus far in this match, and she's really been a key component to this JMU side in negating some of the scoring chances that Hofstra has tried to create. Nonetheless, Hofstra does find themselves up 3-0, but Munson has really been able to keep that lead in check and really keep JMU in this game.
Long throw on the way from Cowling in towards the box, and Hofstra will let this one run out of play for a goal kick. And it just feels like, you know, if JMU can get one back early here, it would put them back in that same position where, hey, maybe you're able to find one more and make it a real scramble for the finish. But at the moment right now, Hofstra up 3-0. And looking like they're cruising a bit in the second half.
And I think it's just that, Tom. You got to get one. You haven't scored yet in this match. I think just scoring one would provide a lot of confidence and just a boost to this JMU offense that has been successful all season long in scoring goals. It's just been Hofstra's defense that has come out on top with about 40 minutes left to play. But if you're able to just pot one in the net, I think that would go a long way in terms of keeping that confidence up and allowing you to that and proving that you can stay in this game.
On the bounce, Kuzmich will take it. Yeah, kind of like Hofstra, a team that is a pretty well-balanced attack. Deal, Crawford, Wiseman, Miser, all chipping in with goals and assists at big times for this Dukes team throughout the regular season. A non-conference slate filled with ranked opponents as Coach Walters really loaded up the schedule early on and made them face a lot of tough tests. And, you know, maybe not the best regular season that they wanted, but were able to make a nice run here all the way to championship weekend. And right now, a bit of an uphill battle against Hofstra here in this second half.
And like I said, if there's any team that can do it, it is the Dukes. They have the veteranship. They've been in this situation before, even dating back to the last match against UNCW, where they found themselves down, scoring a goal late in the match to send it to overtime, and then eventually scoring the game winner. So they understand what it's like to be in these high-pressure situations where you find yourself down. They're just going to have to start converting, and 3-0 is a little bit different than a one-goal deficit.
Here is Bryan cutting inside. Will lay it off top of the box towards Taylor, but won back neatly by Rabot. Yeah, you mentioned it, Ryan. They trailed in both of the opening two matches of the tournament. They trailed 1-0 against UNCW, and then they trailed against Delaware on a couple of goals. Had to get 2 goals back, including that late equalizer. So they are familiar with coming from behind in CAA championship play, and they've got a free kick now here on their own side of midfield. I believe the first caution of the game will be given out to Hofstra. And sounds like it's going to be Stavisky. We'll try to get confirmation on that. So it is Stavisky with the yellow.
And that will be Stavisky's second yellow card of the season.
Free kick is headed away by Hofstra. Now sent back in by Gordon. Falls towards Miser on the right side of the 18. Good cut from Miser, sending it inside, connecting with Deal. And the combination of Suttner and Fisher having to scramble that away. Another cross coming in. And again, Hofstra able to do enough to get it out of the box. And then Taylor with the hold-up play. She is fouled, and a free kick on the way for Hofstra.
And that's the thing right now. JMU has had the ability to enter the box, and they've been able to try to create scoring opportunities in close areas. It's just been Hofstra has been so steady and so calm and collective in that area, in that 18-yard box area, where they've really flooded the area with players and just getting the ball out of the danger zone and not allowing to, despite JMU entering the zone, not allowing them to get a good shot off.
Flick over the top. Taylor is chasing on the end of it, and it was a real battle for it with McShay also coming out, and she's able to eventually make the grab. So the senior again looking very comfortable back there and under pressure from Taylor, and that's kind of one part of Taylor's game that's big for Hofstra as well. As the leader kind of that press, that first player up top, she does a good job putting defenders and goalkeepers under pressure.
And even more credit to her for a player that really didn't play a ton last season. She did win CAA Rookie of the Year. She played in 17 games, started 13 of them. So she started to build that confidence and that experience. And I think that's what's really blossoming here in this second season with the Pride.
Richards with a good run forward, but maybe trying to take on one defender too many. Lost the ball, but now Hofstra able to win it back. And Bryan will try to go down the flank. Foley with some good defending. And kept alive by Crawford deep down in her own end. That's not where you want Crawford to be on the ball for JMU. You want to get her the ball in that attacking third, not having to come all the way back and defend against this Hofstra possession. Little boy's cross is cleared away. And now flicked out for a Pride throw-in on that far sideline.
And it doesn't seem like the Pride, despite being up 3-0, it doesn't look like they're going to be easing off the pressure anytime soon. I think they want to continue scoring goals because I think they know the offensive threat that JMU provides, that they could really come back in this game at any moment, and they really don't have the luxury of sitting back and maybe parking the bus here.
Suttner was charging forward, tried the probing ball through, but defended well by JMU. Up the line in the area of Wiseman, but won back by Hofstra. Now Wiseman winning it back for the Dukes. Cleared out to midfield. Back in towards Richards. She gets a step. Richards, right side to Bryan. Cuts it back to the left. Bryan, the shot blocked. And now back out. Richards sending it back towards Munson, who heads away for the Dukes. And finally, the throw in here will break the pressure on that far side for JMU.
And we'll have another look at that play here, where it was a close opportunity by Brian, but just not able to get around on that shot, and also getting deflected there. But there's a player that consistently provides threats even in that area. She proved it on that third goal that she scored, really leading this team in shots taken and shots on goal. So if there's any player that you'll allow to take those types of shots, it's going to be Sabrina Bryan of the Pride.
And there's Bryan picking back up on the left side, as it seems like they make a swap again with Shepard and Bryan switching flanks once again for about the third or fourth time today, as a Pride foul and JMU free kick now deep in their own end. So again for Hofstra on the line today, a chance at a three-peat after winning the CAA championship the last 2 seasons. An undefeated conference campaign back in 2017, and then last year having to go on the road and go into JMU and get a victory in the championship match against the Dukes last season. Now hosting again, unbeaten again in conference, just the 2 ties to go along with 7 wins, and so far unblemished in championship play as well. So really a pretty tremendous 3 years for Simon Ridioff and this team. Thrown in by Bryan. Now she'll try to get the cross. Floating up towards the back post. It was very difficult for the goalkeeper to deal with. Pops in front, and Hofstra will add another one here. Looks like it's going to be Shepard with the goal. And the Pride take a 4-0 advantage with 32-13 remaining here in the second half.
And what a statement that this Hofstra Pride team is making in this final. A great ability here by Porter to have the vision to find Shepard, and Shepard able to knock it down and control it and find that top corner. Tom, we have 4 different goal scorers in this match thus far. I think that just goes to show you the offensive ability that this Hofstra Pride team has, and just the threat of this offensive side for Hofstra that they've done all season long. Just so many talented players on this team that can provide threats against JMU at any point in time.
And of course, Coach Ridioff telling us a lot about Shepard, saying that based on how good she's been this season, maybe it shows that she deserves to have started a little bit more in the last couple of seasons. But last year, we mentioned it, she came in off the bench, played 18 minutes in the CAA championship match. Today, she starts, and she picks up a big goal, as she's been a key starter, really a revelation, as Coach Ridioff called her this season.
Yeah, no, starting 11 of 23 games last season. She's really stepped up and replaced Jen Bunicor, the graduate from last season, who was a huge playmaker for this team. Shepard has led the team here in 9 assists, and she's been a playmaker, a big part, and one of the facilitators on this high-powered offense. But there, she's showing that she also has the scoring ability. And I feel like I've been saying that all match long, where, you know, these players are all versatile. They can not only playmake, they can not only have the ball skills to create those opportunities, but also an ability to score the ball. And I think by having that versatility, and so many of your top players on this Hofstra Pride team goes into that multifaceted attack that the Pride has, and they're proving it in this final match here against JMU.
So the 6th of the season for Shepard, as you said, a player who so often will rack up assists from that right flank. As a good tackle by Suttner, and here she comes out into midfield, but gives it right back to Foley. Wiseman on the turn. Put under pressure by Porter. Couple of England natives, and now this one goes out for a throw-in. And of course, fans, the CAA wants you to be a part of the conversation. Be sure to tag your tweets, posts, and pics about today's action with the official hashtag of the championships, hashtag CAA Champs.
And I think, Tom, if you're JMU here, I think you really got to start now putting up the pressure. You really have nothing to lose now that you're down 4-0. You're going to have to score a goal eventually here to start a potential comeback. But the problem with that, when you start opening up play and you start to put that pressure on Hofstra, that's where Hofstra really has the ability to seal the deal. And when you provide them with those open spaces, when you put so much pressure on that offensive end, that really puts a open space on that defensive side, which Hofstra has a tendency to capitalize on. So it's really going to be a tough balance between those two, but I don't think you have a choice here for the Dukes.
So 15 minutes now played in this second half, and about as good as you could have asked for if you're Coach Simon Ridioff. The Pride adding 2 more goals already in the half, scoring on 4 of their 5 shots on goal, and have taken what was a very tight game at the halftime break and turned it into a game that Hofstra now feels like they're fully in control.
And I think it was a perfect game plan here by head coach Simon Ridioff. They knew that they had the offensive pressure. They knew this JMU Duke side has the tendency to allow and concede goals. Like I mentioned before, second in the CAA, fourth in the CAA in allowing those goals. And I think it was just the defensive side that Hofstra really needed to hone in on and really focus on, and they've been doing just that. If you were to say that they had JMU shut out after almost 60 minutes of play here, really couldn't have been any better here for the Pride thus far in this game.
Thrown in by Shepard and poked away from Richards. Fisher now with a great ball up towards Porter, but McShay will catch. And that was kind of the balance that Coach Walters was telling us when we had a chat with him just a couple of days ago. He said, you really have to defend well against Hofstra, but if you spend the whole match defending, you'll never be able to score a goal against them. And so you have to kind of find that balance between looking for the right times to attack and maybe trying to find some space on the counter, things like that. And so far today, Hofstra's done a nice job defensively of not allowing the Dukes many chances.
And I think that just goes to show you on the defensive side that they have the ability to flood that box. I think just proves the athleticism that Hofstra has to have players really move up and down the field. They can be in their own defensive territory, in their own 18-yard box, and then all of a sudden they're right back down on the offensive side, providing a threat in scoring chances.
Richards left side to Bryan, and a good tackle there by Munson, as Hofstra was building up well through the midfield. And Munson will just play it long for Deal to try to run on the end of. And that's kind of been a little bit of what we've seen now from JMU in the last couple of minutes, looking for those long balls, looking to get the speed of Crawford and Deal and Wiseman maybe in behind this Hofstra defense, because they just haven't had enough possession to try to get it through the build-up. As here comes Augustinello. Down the right side, tackled out, Hofstra throwing on the way. Shepard will have the throw-in. The header is flicked in. On the turn, Taylor looking to get a shot free, but she's double-teamed, and eventually it's knocked away by JMU for another Hofstra throw-in. Another throw-in upcoming here for Shepard. Into the area. Cleared out for Augustinello. Poked away from her by Crawford, and Fisher closing down the space really well. Comes to Deal, who sends it up top towards Miser, and again there is Suttner. As the center back tandem, Suttner and Fisher have really been all over the place today for Hofstra, cutting out attacks.
And they've been a big reason why when JMU tries to now implement those long balls and those long through crosses to try to spark some offense, I think it's just the composure and the athletic ability and the ability for how much coverage and how much ground that Fisher and Suttner can really cover on that back end just doesn't allow really anything to go through that back line. And I think that's been a key reason why not only when JMU tries to make adjustments when they find themselves down here 4-0, they're still able to play solid defense and not allow them to spark any comeback of any sort of any chance.
McShay coming out of her box, then will hit it long towards midfield. Will fall to Munson. Into the center now, as Wiseman finds Miser up the right flank, and now in towards Crawford. Fisher got there, but it was off of Crawford and stayed with the Dukes. Her pass now out of play, and it looks like both teams are going to make a couple of changes. Amanda Ebessen, the transfer from the Division II National Champs Bridgeport, she will come back in for her second appearance of the match. And for JMU, they're going to make a couple of subs. It looks like Wiseman and Foley on their way out. And coming in is Ashby Larkin returning, I believe, as one of the changes for JMU.
And an interesting change there because you're really adding a little bit of defensive ability there rather than any offensive chance there by taking out a couple of your better players like Wiseman, but we'll see what system now that head coach Walters is trying to implement here as we have about 25 minutes left to play in this final.
Miser almost got through in the box on that last sequence, eventually knocked out by Hofstra. And a chance for Cowling with that long throw once again. In towards the box. On the half turn, far side, it's Gordon. Back out, Cowling trying to get the cross back in and closed down well, blocked out by Bryan. This throw-in taken short to Munson. She'll try the lefty cross. Headed away from the top of the 18. Up towards Besson. And now Rabot will send it forward. And Suttner again was there clearing away for Hofstra. Back down the right. And good defending there on the far side. I believe it was Stavisky doing just enough to win the throw-in for Hofstra. Down in the center, Little Boy. Her pass cut out by Munson, who will serve it long up towards the run of Deal. And again, Hofstra so far been dealing well with those long balls. Free kick on the way for Little Boy on Hofstra's side of the field. Now she'll leave it behind for one of the center backs to take. Looks like Suttner.
And you're sensing a little bit of less urgency here by Hofstra, obviously, as they find themselves up 4-0. They're a little bit more composed, not too worried about trying to press up the field and push it up quickly. Just trying to maintain possession here and just make sure not to concede another goal.
Offside will come up against Hofstra here, so free kick on the way for McShay. And for Hofstra, of course, under Coach Rudioff, 6 NCAA tournament appearances, including 3 of the last 4 seasons, and looking like they're on their way to making that 4 out of 5.
And Tom, that was a goal that this Hofstra team had before the season. It wasn't just winning the CAA championship, because they've been here before, and I think they have the confidence that they know that they were one of the best teams here in the CAA conference. Their goal was to push past what has never been done in their NCAA tournament appearances. Obviously, they had the big upset last year in that first round, and then fall short there in the second. I think their goal, and we spoke with head coach Simon Ridioff about making that next step, getting into that next round in the NCAA tournament, and they're going to look to do just that, as it looks like they're going to seal the deal here in this final, find themselves 4-0 as time dwindles down to that 22-minute mark left in this final match.
Yeah, reaching the second round again last season, also matching what they did back in that 2010 team, which included an 18-game win streak before falling to JMU 2-0 in the CAA final. Hofstra knocking off UConn before eventually falling at BC in the second round. So it's definitely a place they've been before, and I thought it was a really revealing quote from Coach Rudioff when we spoke to him recently that, yeah, they won the CAA regular season title, and he felt like his girls almost really weren't that excited because they were already looking ahead to the next step, and he tried to remind them, you have to enjoy this one because these types of championships don't always come along so often, but it just seems like that's been the way for Hofstra the last few years.
And how crazy is that? And we talked about this in the break, Tom, and just how much success this Hofstra women's soccer program has had.
As we've got a penalty coming up, Deal off the cross was able to put that one towards goal, and it hit a loose arm in the box. So that's going to be the call. Porter is trying to argue her case that there was no intent from the defender. They were just playing tight defense on Deal, and the ball hit the arm from such a tight position, but we'll get another look at it here. As it was off of Fisher. And again, just really tight. I mean, not a lot of room between the ball and the hand. And Rabot is going to step up here and try to get one back for JMU. Here is the strike, and it's in the back for Rabot. So JMU able to get one back from the penalty spot and make it 4-1 with 21-14 left in the second half. And we'll see if maybe that can help spark the Dukes here and get some momentum brewing for JMU, because they could certainly use it and try to get another one right back in quick succession.
And this is what head coach Walter says. It starts with one, right? That's what he said after that halftime break. And I think now that you finally had something go your way, despite maybe it was a lucky handball call that was questionable against the referee, finally something goes your way where you're finally able to get one on the board. And this could open the gates here to a JMU offense that has made comebacks in the past. And we talked about that match against UNCW, how they were able to come back, and now they find themselves down by 3 here with 21 minutes left to play. There's still time to surmount a comeback, and we'll see if JMU will be able to make history here.
So the 5th of the season for Iris Rabot, a sophomore transfer out of Northwestern Ohio, where she was an NAIA honorable mention All-America selection. And she is kind of plays that number 6 role, deep-lying midfielder for JMU, and a player that Coach Walters specifically wanted to shout out when we chatted with him a few days ago and how important she was, especially with those 3 assists in the semis. As Hofstra's free kick will find its way to Richards' top of the box, and now it'll be McShay coming out to claim.
And Rabeau, she has been successful with the penalty kicks all season long. 2 for 3 heading in to this match, now make that 3 for 4. So they've been able to rely on her when they get those crucial situations in the box and converting on those penalty kicks, which does go a long way, and it may go a long way here in this final match.
Yeah, and it does seem to be a special trait that certain players tend to have, because it's not always the top goal scorers that take the penalties. Sometimes it's just a player that has the right mentality, the right nerves for it, and they're able to keep the goalie guessing. So Rabeau, not really, the top scorer on this team, but definitely a player who has that ability. She sent Kuzmich the wrong way there. And able to get one for JMU.
And as much skill as it takes to get shots off in the penalty kicks, it is almost a mental game too as well, Tom. Just trying to figure out the tendencies of the goalkeeper, trying to figure out maybe where she's going to go, where she's lining up, and ultimately making a decision on where you're going to place that shot. Just so many different options, whether you go with a power shot, whether you place it well into a corner. Rabeau has been able to do that all season long. She's proved that she's been able to be successful with that mental aspect of the penalty kicks, converting on 75% of her chances in that penalty kick area.
Besson was fouled there in the midfield, so it'll be a free kick on the way for Little Boy.
So we'll have another look at that penalty kick. Rabeau just kind of seeing where Kuzmich may have gone, and maybe she understood that the tendency of maybe where Kuzmich will go, and she perfectly placed that shot. And I talked about not necessarily the hardest shot placed, but a well-placed ball into that left corner, which puts JMU on the board for the first time in this match.
Porter will send this one across the box, headed out by JMU, and you see sometimes players will try to give the goalie the eyes, make them think they're going to one side, and then they send it back the other way. So certainly is a interesting strategy decision by the penalty kick taker, and again, couldn't have taken it better than Rabeau, as here is Kuzmich now on the ball inside her own 18.
And I think if you're Hofstra, you're not really too worried about allowing that goal, because it was an unfortunate circumstance on a handball. It wasn't really due to miscommunication or bad play. So I think if you're Hofstra, you just move forward here. You are, I guess, disappointed that you did allow a goal after playing such good defense throughout this match. However, you got to close it out here with under 20 minutes left to play and continue to play the solid defense that you've played for the whole entirety of this match thus far.
Yeah, last year Hofstra had gone the full 3 CAA tournament games without allowing a goal, becoming the first team since William and Mary back in 03 to not concede in 3 tournament matches like that. This season allowed 1 to Elon, and now allowing 1 to the Dukes as well, but so far still in control at 4-1, and a chance here for Porter, leading the counter the other way. Miriah Taylor from deep will go for Besson, making that run down the right flank. And really good defending there by Gordon. Throwing on the way for Hofstra, and a couple of subs will come in, 1 for Hofstra and 2 for JMU on the way. So Suebatu Muhammad will come in, as well as Lydia Nduka for JMU. And for Hofstra, Lucy Shepard will come back in and give Sabrina Bryan a breather.
And a couple freshmen here now entering the match for JMU. So maybe a strategy here by head coach Walters to maybe get some playoff experience for some of their freshmen in a final type setting, and maybe see if they can turn the tide here and provide some offense, because I think experience in these types of situations go a long way in development of key players.
Cross finds Shepard in the box, tried to swing around with the left foot, but couldn't get the shot away. And yeah, Crawford, a senior, one of the key pieces that they'll be losing, so try to get some, maybe of these attacking players, some minutes in a big-time situation. As Shepard's pass missed its target, and here is Crawford now on the charge, sending it up top towards Miser, and now smashed clear by Suttner. Richards with the header, and it's always a little bit harder to head the ball in these cold weather situations. The ball gets a little bit harder and just kind of really increases the impact that you feel, for sure.
Yeah, and it's really cut in a lot colder, Tom. We were talking about it before the game over the past few days. Certainly colder than the earlier semifinal and quarterfinal matches that we have seen.
As Kuzmich here will be able to make the grab under pressure. And you can see both sidelines with the full, coats and pants for some of these players as well as they try to stay warm on those sidelines.
And we didn't mention it earlier in the game, but it does have an effect on the way the ball bounces as well.
Yep.
The turf is a little bit harder, and head coach Walters also spoke about playing on this faster, playing on an older type field where the ball moves a little quicker, and you add the cold on top of that. It does affect the way the ball kind of rolls and the way the ball deflects off of certain areas, and I think that also had a key impact here in this final match for both teams.
Yeah, they've got that kind of short turf where maybe the new surfaces are a bit more like grass, so they have a little bit more of ability to slow the ball down. But this surface that I know Simon Ridioff likes a lot, and they play fast on it, so he likes to have that home field advantage, and that's what you earn by having such a great regular season as they did. He talked about being able to sleep in their own beds and not have to deal with the travel, so that was definitely something that they were looking forward to, and even mentioned about halfway through the conference season, they fully set their sights on trying to secure home field advantage, and right now here they are in the championship game here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium.
And we talked about the irony about how the last two championships really was how these two teams faced was that the away team had the advantage and they came out victorious up top, but I don't think that diminishes the value of being able to play on your own turf and on your home field, because I do still think that it is a big advantage, especially when you add the struggles that JMU has had away from home this past season. I think Hofstra getting that home field advantage throughout this conference championship play has been a big factor to their success, and it's well deserved as well. I mean, they had a fantastic regular season, undefeated in regular season play, and like you said, Tom, you should be rewarded for your efforts throughout the regular season.
Crawford trying to send that one up top, and it was tackled out by Fisher before Nduka could arrive. Back down for Ibesen, who's really been doing a lot of good hard running up top for Hofstra, putting pressure on the JMU back line, and throw-in now will be taken by Miriah Taylor.
And I'm really liking seeing the minutes that Ibesen is getting in this match. You've seen her quite long in that semifinal match. She really only saw about the last 15 minutes of play when they knew they were going to win the game. Here she's really playing in some crucial moments here. We saw her earlier in that first half, and now closing out this game with about 13 minutes left to play, a transfer from the Bridgeport Purple Knights, where she won the NCAA Division II National Championship. So she obviously has the experience, and after only starting 4 of 14 games that she played in this season, she'll be a big part of this squad moving into next season. So it's good to see her get these minutes to develop and get used to the Hofstra Pride type level of play here, especially with the experience she has had on winning teams.
Bit of a tangle of bodies there as Taylor and Larkin kind of getting caught up, as Little Boy serves a great ball in, and the header was just too close to McShay, who's able to make the stop. But that was another good chance for Hofstra, who have also looked very dangerous off set pieces. As we said, Simon Ridioff was worried about JMU on set pieces. Hofstra has also looked good on set pieces as well, and almost cashing in again there. And of course, Hofstra, the first goal coming kind of off of a corner situation, and the goal for Fisher as well coming off a corner situation. So the Pride have been able to take advantage a few times today. As on the far side is Mohammed, who sends it forward. One back by Little Boy. Near side, Augustinello. Tricky feat for the converted winger, who now plays right back this season. Not afraid to get forward for this Hofstra team, as now Munson will shield it out for a throw-in. I'm sure she's got some family and friends in attendance, again coming from just a few minutes away in Merrick. And did see some good traveling support as well from JMU. Saw some purple hats and scarves, because it's been that cold. You're mostly seeing hats and scarves out there here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium, so they've traveled well. And it's been a really nice atmosphere here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium, despite the cold weather.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great sight to see just the support for two soccer programs that have been so successful over the past decade. I think the support kind of backs that up. When you do have such a successful program, you're obviously going to have fans that really pay attention and follow you and are willing to make that travel despite being so far away from home. And it's a great sight to see for JMU and a lot of Hofstra fans here as well. So it's a good sight to see for a soccer program that may be in the shadows sometimes of other bigger programs here at Hofstra, like men's basketball, like the lacrosse programs. But Tom, you and I were talking about this during the break as well, just about how this soccer program cannot be ignored, because they truly are one of the most successful programs here at Hofstra University, at least over the past decade. Especially, I mean, they're being on their way here, leading up 4-1 with just over 10 minutes to play, on their way to their 3rd championship in a row.
Yeah, can't ignore what Coach Ridioff has been able to do, and obviously taking over as a second coach in program history. I'm sure something that JMU is hoping for Coach Walters, as he's also just the second coach in program history after taking over for the legendary Dave Lombardo. So both of these coaches, hoping to leave their own marks on the program. Coach Ridioff having done that now for Hofstra, and I'm sure Coach Walters will be wanting to do that after coming from UCLA, where he was obviously a part of a perennial national contender, 2013 national champs, when he was on staff there as well. So,
and it's not a coincidence that 2 of the most successful programs in the Colonial Athletic Association Conference have the most stability at their head coaching roles at the helm in terms of the consistency in this program at that spot. It just allows your team to build a culture and build an identity and just be able to carry that throughout the years, and I think both of the teams have been able to do that.
Crawford with a good ball back for Larkin. Her cross is blocked. Now will fall out to the far side for Muhammad. She cuts the cross back in with the left foot, and again Hofstra will deal with it well. Stavisky getting the block and then sweeping that one away. And looks like we're going to have another substitution here as JMU will make a change. And Ginger Deal will make her way back into the match. And she replaces Lydia Nduka. So just a quick breather for Deal, who again has been so good for this team this season. 8 goals, 3 assists, all CAA second team, setting a career high in goals and shots this season. Preseason all CAA as well. Multiple time all conference selection for the junior out of Coronado, California. Good charge forward from Augustinello, connects with Richards. Now Sabrina Bryan up the right flank. Bryan, tricky feet, goes down the line with her right foot, cuts the cross in low. A chance there for the shot from Miriah Taylor, and that one just got blocked on the way through. Great setup, though, as again Bryan looking dangerous, this time back down the right flank.
And talk about a versatile offense. If Miriah Taylor was able to pop that one in, that would have been the 5th different goal scorer for this Hofstra Pride team. Just so many players, so many offensive threats in this starting lineup. And just going back to that move also by Sabrina Bryan. She loves that move, pulling that back and then pushing in front of her, using her athleticism and her speed to create that space, and then showing off her playmaking ability after showing us how she can shoot the ball earlier in the match and scoring a goal in this game. She's just had a great all-around game that she's shown all season long in her whole collegiate career.
High kick called against Porter, so a chance for JMU, and with 8 minutes left, why not? You bring the goalkeeper up this far to take the free kick, you get as many bodies into the box as possible, as Hofstra here trying to hold a high line at the top of the 18th. So this one is clipped in by McShay, headed away by Shepard, cut back in by Muhammad, and they needed a little bit better of a second ball there. It goes behind instead for a goal kick, which will of course break the pressure and force McShay back onto her own half of the field.
And hey, why not? You know, you're down to the final single-digit minutes in this match, and you need to get something going. It's never over until the clock says 0, so why not try to create some chances and use some unconventional play with a little bit more time on the clock here and try to create some opportunities as JMU is trying to grasp signs of life here in this final.
Taylor playing in for Sabrina Bryan down that right side. Bryan spins it back to her right foot, cuts the cross in towards the near post, and McShay with some good defending. And we'll try to get the kick going quickly up top for Deal. Nice move around Augustinello, but it was great help back defending by Porter, and she's able to draw the foul.
And we just can't take for granted how quickly Hofstra is able to create their offense. I mean, it seems like JMU all match long has been struggling to create those chances just by the great defensive play by Hofstra, but it seems like right back the other way. They do it with such ease in creating chances. A large part of that is due to the great play by Sabrina Bryan.
Header is flicked towards Taylor, top of the box, and her shot is blocked out. I believe it's going to go for a corner kick here, so Bryan will come over to take this one, and despite the cold, Miriah Taylor still going with the rolled up sleeves because she is not afraid of the cold apparently.
And that's something that she's been doing all season long. It's a look that she's kind of embraced and makes it easy for us as commentators to kind of spot her out. I mean, she does play with that aggression and that grit, and you do see that. And how fitting is it for that kind of type of player to go sleeveless here, especially in the cold.
Bryan with a good ball in. The header, McShay had to punch away, and now they're going to call, I believe, a foul, as maybe McShay was impeded on the way through, so she will have a kick back in her own end. And she tried to hit it quickly, but the ball was still moving, so the referee is going to make them send it back here with now under 6 minutes remaining here in the second half. And of course, fans, we want to remind you that the CAA Men's Soccer Championship Tournament resumes on Sunday with the semifinals here on Flow FC, all beginning at 1 p.m. as the top seed and regular season champ UNCW Seahawks will take on William & Mary, and at 3 the defending champion Dukes will play host to Hofstra. So both soccer teams for these programs taking on each other this weekend. Winners, of course, will advance to next Saturday's 2019 CAA Men's Soccer Championship match. For all the live coverage of Sunday's semifinals, again, please join us right here on flowfc.com.
And both very exciting matches, but I want to pinpoint that JMU versus Hofstra matchup, a rematch of last year's final where it was a heartbreaking loss for Hofstra, losing in penalty kicks, and now they have their chance to kind of get JMU back here in this semifinal match. A lot of motivation for Hofstra, but a lot of motivation for JMU as well to knock out a team that is as a threat like the Pride.
Rabot will send this one in towards the back, and Gordon keeps it moving out to the far side towards Munson. Long ball up towards Miser, helping it on for Muhammad, showing some speed down the right side, but really good coverage there by Suttner. She got there just ahead of her and took the contact in the back, so referee assistant on the far side flagging for the foul, and a free kick for Hofstra as the clock continues to run now. 4:15 remaining here in the match.
And just a sense of urgency here that you're kind of feeling from JMU as they obviously want to close out this match on the high note. Still hopeful to maybe potentially score a couple goals here in the final minutes, but just they want to close out obviously this match and this season that was successful. A great CAA championship run by JMU, and to cap it off with just some final minutes of good play here by the Dukes is something that they'll look to do.
Throw one for the Pride in front of their own bench on that far sideline.
And I think despite the veteranship of this JMU side, who many people expect to be one of, and what we were talking about, one of the most talented programs, at least over the recent past in the CAA, for them to also, be here in this final from a number 6 seed is a pretty good note to have.
Bryan cuts it back for Porter, and now a strike from distance, and that one is going to be over the top from Augustinello, but she figures why not have a crack at this point, and again has some of those striker mentalities as a player who's formerly a right winger, now converted to right back.
And just once again, great vision by Sabrina Bryan, and then to Lucy Porter to just drop it for Augustinello, who kind of just takes a chip shot there, not really fully committing to it, and ultimately that's just going to sail a couple inches high of the crossbar. Good opportunity for Augustinello, good look. I'm sure if she was able to get that situation back, she'd want to take a better shot, but nonetheless, Hofstra still up here 4-1.
And the senior Foley getting back in here, so a nice touch for a few more minutes in her career here as Bryan wins another corner kick down on this right side, as the clock now showing 2.5 minutes here in this CAA Women's Soccer Championship match.
And I think if you're JMU, you got to be happy with this run that you made. I mean, you came into this tournament number 6, and you've had some pretty big statement wins in the quarterfinals and semifinals as well. Comeback wins here. Unfortunately, not able to come back in this match, but nonetheless, a good performance over the past couple weeks here by the JMU Dukes that have really proved to show why JMU has been such a successful program over the course of the past few years.
It looks like Miriah Taylor going to be checking out here, so sub for Hofstra, and now Bryan will get ready to take this corner. Headed forward by Fisher, and that one's going to be put away. It'll be another goal for Porter, and Hofstra adding another one here with 1 minute and 48 seconds remaining here on their home field.
And the ability for Hofstra to just continue to score goals even in the final minutes of this CAA final to go up 5-1 now. Just continues to emphasize how deadly this offense is for the Hofstra Pride, as once again off of a set piece goes the right way, finds the foot of Lucy Porter, and when Porter is in that close to the net and has an open shot like that, she is not going to miss. She scores her CAA leading 16th goal of her season and her 2019 campaign. So what a season it was for Lucy Porter.
And Fisher factoring in on another goal for Hofstra, so she's had a very strong game here today, the center back. Duke's on the throw-in. It's headed away by the Pride, and another JMU throw on the way. Coming in from Munson. Poked out to the center. Little Boy will hit it out, and only as far as a JMU player in the middle. Now out to Crawford near side. She's pressured from behind by Bryan, and then eventually Augustinello able to poke it off her foot. And this one is now driven long by Shepard. Headed forward by Bella Richards. Out to the near side, here is Bryan. The final 75 seconds of this CAA Women's Soccer Championship match, with the Pride in control. Back for Augustinello. Returns it for Bryan down the flank as the Sun coming back out here in Hempstead. She cuts the cross in towards Porter. And pushed out with now under a minute remaining here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium. You could start to see some of the bouncing on the Pride bench. They're looking forward to getting out there and celebrating with their teammates. As another throw-in on the way for the Pride. Porter will just try to eat some clock here down near the corner flag. Throw in for JMU with 20 seconds now on the clock. Little Boy will just put this one back in deep. Falls now to Bella Richards. Final 10 seconds now here at Hofstra Soccer Stadium. Pass comes into the center. A shot from distance is wide, but it won't matter. Hofstra, their third straight CAA championship, a 5-1 victory over James Madison to win their 6th ever CAA title. What a story for the Pride. 3 straight, and doing so in dominating fashion here on their home field.
And what a cap off, Tom, to a fantastic 2019 campaign for this Hofstra Pride team, who continue to show their CAA dominance, now winning 3 straight championships in a row, not only completing the dominance of this season, but their dominance over the past few years. I mean, they were just unstoppable this season. It felt like this Hofstra Pride team was meant to be crowned CAA championships this season. They never lost. They never lost a conference match this season. And once again, that proves to be big for this Pride team, as they are now going to hoist the the CAA championship for the 3rd time in 3 straight years.
Hofstra University, Sabrina Bryant. Hofstra University, Jordan Little. And now for the most outstanding performer award, recognized for outstanding play for the championship, the 2019 CAA Women's Soccer Championship Most Outstanding Performer,
Still Jenna Morrison.
called Hofstra University, Lucy Porter. championship awards and trophies. With an overall record of 53-2, the Colonial Athletic Association goes on to congratulate the pride of Hofstra University, your volleyball team. And now the championship trophy, will the captains please come forward to receive the 119 championship trophy on behalf of your
And there you have it, the presentation of the championship trophy to the Hofstra Pride, their third straight CAA title. Brian, Littleberry, and Richards getting named to the all-tournament team, and Lucy Porter getting named the tournament's most outstanding player for JMU. Deal, Wiseman, and Lebeau also getting named to this all-tournament team. But what else can you say about the Pride? They made it their goal about halfway through the season. Coach Whitlock told us to be hosting here at the Hofstra Soccer Stadium. They did just that.
All right, thanks a lot, gentlemen. Down here with the most outstanding performer, Lucy Porter. Lucy, 2 goals for you today. You guys were on the offensive attack all day long, pedal to the metal. Just talk about the team's performance.
The team came out today. We all gave it 100%. The energy was electric. Like, the fans were amazing, and we performed for our lives really, and got the win today, which we're all so happy about.
Lucy, you're a junior along with Sabrina Bryan and some of these other underclassmen. 3 years, 3 championships. Just talk about that a little bit.
Honestly, I can't quite comprehend it right now. It's a lot, but yeah, we're just so happy. We've got a great team here at Hofstra. We've got a great staff network and everything, and we all did it together. It was a team performance and a team win, and the three-peat is just a huge achievement for the whole university.
As for you, 2 goals today. What was working well for you out there today?
I think the forward, throughout the whole season, we've had a really strong attacking 4, and they gave me the service, and I just slotted them in. They do all the hard work. I just put the ball in the box. But yeah, I don't know. We just played well.
Yeah, obviously this team is going to go in with a lot of experience in the NCAA tournament. First, how long do you celebrate this win and then get your focus onto the NCAA tournament? What can you bring from those previous experiences that can make you guys so dangerous coming up?
Well, we're definitely going to celebrate tonight. Maybe have a day off tomorrow, hopefully. And then, yeah, back this week we'll have another good week of training, and have I think the award show's on Tuesday, where we find out who we'll have Monday afternoon. And then from then, yeah, we'll prepare for the game that's coming.
All right, Lucy, we'll go celebrate with your team. Enjoy this one. Coach, congratulations, 3 in a row. Just talk about this group of young ladies right now. 3 in a row. You have several juniors that have been part of all 3 of them, including Lucy Porter right there. Just what you start using words like dynasty at this point. They're really starting to leave a legacy here, even though they're only juniors.
Yeah, and that's what we've said all year. What is your legacy? And that junior class is tremendous, and they make us coaches look like geniuses. They do all the work. They're fantastically talented and technical, and you know, Sabrina Bryan was brilliant today again, as well as Porter, and it was just a really good team effort today. So legacy, hopefully they can continue. You know, we return everybody for next year, so I'm just so proud of the team and my staff, because we work hard, and my staff have been really fantastic this year, and it's the desserts when you win, it makes it worthwhile, you know.
Coach, you spoke with me at half. It was a 2-0 game at the time. You're a little weary of the score being 2-0. What did you like from your team coming out of the second half, able to get that 3rd goal, and then, of course, you know, a couple more trickled in after that?
Yeah, well, we knew James Madison were going to come at us, and they're a big momentum team. So we said the first 10 minutes of the second half is going to be huge. If they get a goal, it could get really ugly quick. Unfortunately for us, Sabrina Bryan cut inside on that left foot and swung a beautiful goal in the top corner. And I think at 3-0 it settled us a little bit and kind of killed the wind out of James Madison. So that 3rd goal was really key to the result. And then it was just a matter of keeping it tight, riding out the game as much as possible. But again, you've got to always be careful with a team like James Madison. They're a quality team with quality staff, and they can get back in the game pretty quickly. So it was just play conservatively from then on.
Coach, advancing to the NCAA tournament once again, just talk about your team, the momentum you guys have. Like you said, we talked to Lucy about the experience you guys already have in the NCAA tournament. What do you do as a coach from here? Obviously you celebrate tonight, but moving forward as you guys get ready, it's not just making the NCAA tournament as the expectations anymore for you guys. I'm sure it's advancing and seeing how far this team with this much experience can go.
Yeah, it's fantastic to win championships, and a lot of teams don't get that chance, so you've got to really enjoy the moment. And I thought this team didn't enjoy the moment throughout the year. We kind of went on a jogging stretch and let's get the next one. I think they'll enjoy tonight, and they deserve it. And for us, we'll just get back to work on Tuesday. We'll figure out who we play. We'll do the scout and all that stuff, and hopefully we get a good draw. Hopefully it's a home game, which I think our RPI and records suggest we should get, and then we can move forward. And any game in the NCAA is a tough game.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck in the NCAA tournament. Congratulations again. All righty. Send it back up to you, gentlemen.
Live.